What's going on, everyone? Filthy Card Breaks here. Today we're going to talk a little bit about an SGC submission. I am about to mail these cards off, and because SGC has such a good prompt turnaround time, I thought I'd kind of do two parts. I'm going to make them one video, but I'm going to preview the cards here, and then when we get the cards back, we'll go ahead and see what the grades are. I'll tell you my thoughts as I go through this process. Obviously, if you're familiar with grading, SGC's resale value is not near what PSA is. However, they seem to be the only grading company that really takes into account turnaround time. So I have some cards that I'm going to submit to them since there's so much unknown with PSA right now. Some of these cards I'm going to sell, and some of them will be PC cards. So we've got a 12-card submission. We are starting off with a CJ Abrams first Bowman Chrome. I pulled this out of a pack. I already have a couple PSA 10 of Abrams, so this will definitely be one that I'm going to sell. Hopefully it gets to 10, and that will account for the grading fees, and we can get that submitted. The second one is a Javi Baez. This is from 2015 Topps Chrome, and this is a refractor. This will be another one that I'm going to sell. Just a cool card. I pulled this out of the rookie card explosion box, so kind of a neat story there. This next one is from Select. It is a Justin Herbert rookie card. This is going to be another one that likely I'm going to sell. Herbert was a dynamic player last year for the Chargers, but this is kind of an insert rookie and not one that I'm going to hang on to. Next up, we actually have three different Austin Martin first Bowmans. My plan is to keep at least one of these and then hopefully sell one or two. I've talked about this before on the channel, but when I submit cards, my goal is to always sell enough to make up for the submission costs. So I'm not necessarily looking to make money, but I don't want to lose money when I send cards in for grading. Even these 12 cards is going to cost over $300 once I factor in shipping costs there and back. So I don't want to send these in and just eat $300. So my plan is to sell some of these, recoup that cost, or at least some of it, and then add some nice cards to my collection. So we got this base first Bowman Chrome of Martin, and then we've got the camo parallel. I was fortunate enough to open two of these actually, but this one is the one that I thought looked nice enough to grade, as well as a first edition. So we got a couple different Martins there. Hopefully we get some 10s, and I can pick the one I like the best to keep. This next one's a little painful. Another card I opened out of a rookie card explosion box. John Diaz, he's a prospect for the Rays. It was my first time ever pulling an orange parallel. Unfortunately, John has not reported to America to play yet. And if you follow him on social media at all, he is heavily involved in vaping. He promotes it on his Instagram. He shows himself vaping. So this was a guy I was pretty excited about, but it makes me feel like he's not really taking his athletic endeavors very seriously. That's not to mean that down the road he won't turn into a great baseball player. He's still super young. But that's kind of turned me off on him, and this is going to be another one that I'm going to sell. This card looks great. It's well-centered. It looks very clean. I'll be surprised if this doesn't get a 10. Next up, we've got a couple of Ohtani cards. I love Ohtani, and I don't have either one of these graded. Hopefully at least one of them gets a 10. I'd love that. This is the complete set variation. That one, if it gets a 10, will go on the PC for sure. And the next one is a 1983 insert. I love these inserts. I've submitted a couple of these actually to SGC previously and did really poorly. So hopefully I do better with this one. Hopefully I get at least 110 out of those. This next one is a Tua, and it is Select. It is a silver prism, and it's the premier level. I really like Tua, and the reason I like him is because he's left-handed. I'm also left-handed, and he is the only left-handed quarterback in the NFL. And actually, he was the first one in several years when he made the Dolphins roster. So I'm pulling for him. It's just cool to see a lefty back there. The last really good left-handed quarterback that I can think of off the top of my head is Mike Vick, but I may be forgetting someone. So if I am, you guys will let me know in the comments. But yeah, I like 2 a lot. Now this card is noticeably off center, top to bottom. So I'm hoping it gets at least a 9. A 9.5 would be great, but I don't think it can 10. It looks pretty good left to right, but top bottom is off. Then next up, we've got this Conor McGregor. This is a green prism. It's a fireworks insert. He's doing his McGregor strut. I just thought this was kind of neat. Probably the most valuable UFC card I've pulled so far. I'm a big fan of the UFC, so I thought this would be cool to get slabbed and then display in my office. I'm not necessarily the biggest Conor fan, but just having a UFC card will be great. And then this next card is the last card of the submission, and the reason that prompted me to make this submission, it is the Cabrian Hayes auto, the black parallel out of 199. I love the aesthetics of this card with his black and yellow Pirates uniform, the yellow lettering up top, and then I hit the black parallel. Yeah, I just love the way this card looks. Again, this is not going to get a 10, or at least I don't think it will. The edges in the top right corner have some white showing, and then the bottom right corner has a little bit of white showing. So hopefully it gets a 9. The auto should get a 10, but hopefully the card itself gets a 9, maybe even an 8.5. Anything less than that, I would be pretty disappointed. But hopefully it at least gets an 8.5 or 9. Gorgeous card. So those are the 12 I'm going to submit to SGC, and then we'll cut right in back to the second half of the video where I'm going to do a reveal of these same 12 cards. I'll put up on the screen kind of what my turnaround time was, and we'll see how I do. Thanks, guys. All right, we are back. I've received the cards back from SGC graded. I was very impressed by the turnaround time. I was joking with some friends that I think the cards spent equal amount of times with USPS as they did with SGC. So yeah, it was just super fast turnaround. I'll put the exact times on the video on the screen right now so you can take a look at that. But really impressive. I do already know the grades. I took a look so I could add insurance for shipping it back. So it's not a surprise to me, but I do want to share these with you guys. This box kind of shocked me. I didn't think they'd be able to fit 10 slabs in there. Or excuse me, 12 slabs in there. So we can see the box that came in, they got a cool little tuxedo time logo on it. And we will start off with CJ Abrams' first Bowman Chrome. And we did get the 10 on this. I'm going to try to edit in some pop counts as we go through this. It will take me probably a day or two to do all that editing. But I'll add that stuff on the screen so you guys can check it out. Next up, we've got the Javi Baez Refractor. I don't know, I haven't checked while I'm filming this, but I imagine this is probably a pretty low pop just because it's a 2015 card and a 10, and it is a refractor. Nice looking card, very sharp. Next up, we got the Herbert insert, and we're starting off hot here, guys. 3 straight 10s. Looks good. Just the select certified rookie for Herbert. As I mentioned before, this is going to be one that I sell, so if it's a card you're interested in, please don't hesitate to reach out, or it may be in my eBay store, which has a link below. I just noticed you guys can see me pretty well in the reflection here on Herbert, so sorry you have to look at my my ugly mug. Next up, we've got our 3 Austin Martin cards, and we did really well with these as well. We got a 10 on the camo paper cards. You love to see 10s. Can be tough on the corners. I mentioned in my first video that I did open 2 of these, and I picked the one I thought had a shot at 10ing, so very satisfied that this one did get a 10, and this is the one I ended up submitting. Looks really nice in the slab. The camo is pretty subtle this year. It's just on the border, but I think the black slab helps it pop a little bit, so that's nice. Next up, we've got the first edition Martin, and we got the 10 on this as well, so we did really well on our paper Martins. Both cards looked really well centered, and they look sharp. That's why I sent them in. So another 10. We're starting off on fire. And then the last Martin is the Chrome, and we did get a 9.5 on this. I'm not sure what I missed for the 5 that it didn't 10, but I'm sure I'm missing something. It looks pretty well centered. Maybe it's a little off top to bottom actually. Left to right centering looks really good. I checked the surface on all these cards super close, so there shouldn't be any surface issues with these. It may just be that top to bottom centering. Next up we have the John Diaz. I think in my preview video that I said I'd be surprised if this card didn't get a 10, and it did get the 10. It just looks really nice. The surface is great. The corners are sharp and it's well centered, so very happy you got the 10. I'm still kind of torn on what I want to do with this card. I know I mentioned in my previous video that maybe John isn't taking baseball as seriously as I'd like, but I think he's still only 18, just really young. He has a really good tool set, and a lot of people have compared him to Ozzie Albies as far as potential. Albies is one of my favorite players in the majors, so yeah, I'm kind of torn on what I'm going to do with this card. It also has some sentimental value because I pulled it from a pack, and it was my first ever first Bowman Orange. The orange, of course, are hobby exclusives, so they're pretty rare pulls. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that one, but a great looking card. Next up, we got the complete set Ohtani. I'm filming this on July 3rd. Ohtani just had a 2 home run game yesterday, and then in the ninth inning he walked, stole second, and then scored on a single to win the game. This guy can just do everything right now. Really, really impressive ball player. I love Ohtani. I think I'm going to hang on to this. It got a 9.5. I was hoping for a 10. I had a few of these complete set variations. This is the only one that I thought was a grading candidate. The other ones were pretty roughed up. This is the variation, so it comes in kind of like a plastic cello pack at the end of the box, so those cards can get roughed up. This one's pretty sharp though, so I don't know. There's no borders, but it could be a centering issue. I'm not sure where the A is supposed to be on these borderless cards from Topps. That's always a good way to check your centering. You can look where the logos are, look at some 10s, and kind of see what the space is supposed to look like on the 10s. I didn't do that with this card, so that could just be my fault, and maybe I shouldn't have submitted it, but it's a nice looking card. I'm going to hang on to it. And then here's probably the only grade that I was a little disappointed with. I did get a 9 on this, and I'm not even necessarily disappointed with SGC. I'm kind of disappointed on myself because now that I look at this card, it is woefully off-center left to right. I looked through all these cards before I submitted them, and I don't know if I just got really excited because I had another Ohtani rookie, but this is not a card I should have submitted, so that's 100% on me. Like I said, the card is noticeably off left to right, and I've just had really bad luck with these 1983 design cards. I think I've submitted like 3 or 4 of them between PSA and SGC, and I haven't got a single 10. They're beautiful cards. I love the throwback design, but something about them, I'm having trouble getting gems. This one is a pretty obvious issue, like I said, left to right, and it's completely on me, so I messed that up. But yeah, another Shohei card. I'm not sure if I'll sell that or just hang on to that for the PC. I'm a big fan of that throwback design. Next up, we've got the Tua, the Silver Select Prism. And it got a 9.5, which I think is exactly what I predicted. The card is a little off top to bottom, so I didn't think it would 10. But it's a really sharp card, one I'm going to hang on to. I really like the Select brand, and I really like this card. So yeah, going to be one of the first football cards in my PC. I'm actually a Washington football fan, but I don't follow the NFL super closely aside from fantasy. But I like to root for him, and this is a nice one to add to the PC. The McGregor Green Prism also got a 9.5. Not sure what I missed on this one. It looks pretty well centered as well as I can tell, and it looks sharp. So maybe there's a surface issue I missed, or maybe there's something on the corners I need to take a closer look at. But 9.5 is a good card. It's a good grade. I think overall on this submission I ended up with 6 10s, so I had it right at a 50% gem rate. And then out of the other cards, they were all 9.5s aside from that Otani. So did good. I'm happy with the results. I think that it was fair, and 50% with the other half getting 9.5 is a good result. And then the last card of the submission and kind of the catalyst, this is the reason I submitted these. I just thought this card would look great in the SGC slab, and it does. I can't wait to throw it in my in my case, in my office, put it up on display. A beautiful card, and it actually did better than I thought. In my preview video, I said I think this card will hopefully get a 9, but maybe even an 8.5 because of some whitening on the edges. You can kind of pick it up here. I think it showed better in the preview video. But the black border is tough, obviously, on grading. And they gave me a 9.5, which I was thrilled with, and I just think the card looks wonderful. So I guess to wrap it up, a couple other final thoughts. I was really impressed with SGC. Both, I thought the turnaround time was obviously wonderful. And then on top of that, I thought all my grades were pretty fair. There was no really real surprises aside from getting that 9 on the Otani, but once I had the card in hand, I could see obviously why I got the 9, and that was on me. I shouldn't have submitted that card. It's very noticeably off-center, left to right. So yeah, overall, I thought the grades were very fair. There was no surprises. The turnaround time was quick. Again, with SGC, the resale value is just not there with PSA and even some of the newer grading companies. So if ultimately all you care about is making money, flipping the cards, then you're kind of in a tough spot right now because none of the other companies have realistic turnaround times. PSA just announced they're opening Super Express, but it's $200 a card. So you really need to have some very high dollar cards to justify submitting at $200 each. And then the other card brands, they're all taking several months to get back, and the card market can fluctuate so much. I have about, maybe 10 Gavin Lux rookie cards at PSA right now. I'm going to get those back, and even if they 10, they're going to be $20 or $25 cards. So that kind of weight, the market can change so much. It's just tough right now if you're just grading strictly to make money. But yeah, I really liked SGC. I may do another order with them just because the turnaround time is fantastic. I do think their slabs look better with some cards than others. Like I mentioned, I think this haze looks just stunning in the slab. But maybe some other cards don't look as good. I also think basically any bordered card, even if it's a white border, looks really nice with the black slab. I'm kind of rambling at this point, so I'm going to wind down the video. If you enjoy the content, please thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to try to post this probably July 4th or July 5th, so I hope everyone has a wonderful Independence Day. If you're celebrating, please be safe. Have a lot of fun with your friends and family. And leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of SGC or just the grading landscape in general. Thanks, guys.